Hello, everybody. We're back for another episode of From Prison to the Streets. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want to do that. Tells YouTube this is relevant content when I get a thumbs up on something, and I would love for these videos to be seen by more people. So, today we're going to be talking about something that's pretty cool that happened. I am off parole after 2 years of being on parole and 11 years of being incarcerated. Before that, I am finally a free man. You know it. So, I am pretty happy about that. I actually got off parole a couple weeks ago. I haven't been putting a lot of videos up. I apologize for that. But we're going to get back on track here. So, we're going to be talking about parole, what that was like, and all of that good stuff. And before I get into that, I want to say thank you to my new subscribers. I have a few new subscribers, and I love it when you guys subscribe. I love it when you talk to me in the comments. I love interacting with you guys. I think that my channel, even though it is a small channel, I think I have some of the coolest subscribers out there. So thank you for watching. Thank you to Mico del Rosario. First off, let me say I love your name. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for talking with me a little bit in the comments section. Like I said, I love interacting with you guys. I'm here to keep it personal. I would love to interact. I love to form friendships. So anyway, let us get into this. Parole. What is parole? What is it like? What's it about? All of that good stuff. All right. Parole. Usually parole, in everybody's mind, is a thing where you are in prison and periodically you go up and see a parole board, and if you're good, they'll let you out early or something like that. In reality, that's not how it always works. In Kansas, that's not really how it works. You see, they did away with most of the parole board a long time ago. Most people nowadays, they have a sentence that is given, well, I should say, their sentence is determined by what is called a sentencing grid. So basically, based on your criminal history and the severity level of your crime, when the judge sentences you after you've already been convicted, he just pulls out this piece of paper, he goes to the severity level, and he goes to your prior history, and it'll tell the judge exactly how much time to give you. And so you're not really going to see a board and get out early in most cases. If you have an indeterminate sentence, that'll happen. Like if you have 25 to life or something like that, that'll happen. But in most cases, that doesn't really happen anymore. And even with 25 to life, that means that you're not seeing the parole board for 25 years. Yeah, that sucks. And I've had friends who had cases like that. I had friends who didn't even see the parole board until they were down 40 years. Anyway, the way they figure out your good time and stuff in Kansas, at least, you have to serve a certain percentage of your time. And then, if you're good. So, if you're good, you get 15% off. In other words, you have to serve 85% of your time. For me, I was sentenced to 13 years. Had fairly decent behavior when I was in prison, so I got out in 11. Not bad. So, where does parole fit in? Well, just because you don't have the parole board, even though, how much time you serve is pretty much determined, a lot of states do something called post-release. In other words, when you get out of prison, you have post-release supervision. So you're going to have people looking over your shoulder, making sure you mind your P's and Q's while you're on parole, or post-release supervision. It's basically identical to parole. You have a parole officer. You meet him periodically, which is going to vary from person to person. Some people who are at high risk of reoffending are going to meet with him once a week. People who are not high risk are going to meet with them maybe once a month, maybe once every few months. They might have them on call-in status. And if you have a drug history, you're probably going to have to do a drug test every week or monthly or something like that. And also on post-release, they will give you a parole agreement. And it basically is a list of do's and don'ts, things that you can't do, and then you sign this agreement saying this is what I'm going to do. And for me, my parole agreement was I needed to keep a job, I needed to have housing, and I needed to pay my fees, and I couldn't have any weapons. That's pretty much the gist of it. There were some other things in there, like I couldn't travel over 50 miles from my residence without permission from my parole officer. Other than that, I didn't have a lot of stipulations because I wasn't at high risk for reoffending. And so there you have it. That's parole in a nutshell. I'm sorry, my nutshells can get pretty big. So, I mean, I'm not going to touch that one. Okay, so I got off parole a couple weeks ago. And I got off about a year early. A year early, I had 36 months post-release. I served 2 years on that, 2 out of 3 years. I got off early because I did what I was supposed to do. And that's what I want to say to anyone out there who is doing time on parole. Mind your P's and Q's. Do what you're supposed to do. You get that little parole agreement. It tells you what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. If you go against that, you're going to be butting heads with your parole officer. And once you form a bad relationship with your parole officer, they will try to sabotage you. They will try to send you back to prison. It is no skin off their back to send you back to prison. And that's not a place we like to be, right? So don't do it. Just do what you're supposed to do. It's easier all around. If you stay out of your parole officer's hair, if you do what you're supposed to do, then they are not going to harass you. You're going to be able to have as much freedom as you can while you're on parole. They're going to try to help you in some instances, give you resources to help you better yourself, maybe find a job, things like that. It's better to work with your parole officer than against them. I can assure you, I've had friends that have gotten in trouble on parole, have gone back to prison, who have butted heads with their parole officer. To me, it just seems like a headache. I haven't got along with all of my parole officers, but at the end of the day, I've done what I was supposed to do, so there's not much they can say about that. Actually, there's nothing they can say now because I'm not on parole anymore. That's the benefit of doing what you're supposed to do. I'm not one for being a conformist. I'm no person who loves authority. Not that guy. But in certain circumstances, you just got to do what you're told. So now I'm focusing on living life, being a free man. Things are kind of bleak right now. I'm injured. I have a messed up ankle, so I can't work and money is running low. But I'm not going to be defeated by it. I'm starting my own business. I'm going to start making money. I'm going to keep making YouTube videos because I like interacting with you guys. I like sharing my stories. I like trying to help people out. Okay. Other things that I'm working on. I had a beautiful lady propose to me who I love very much. We're going to get married. I don't know if that's in the near future or a little bit down the road, but that's going to happen. And you know what? I have my ups and downs. Sometimes I'm apprehensive. Sometimes I'm depressed about my current situation, and I'm not talking about my relationship situation. I'm talking about not having a lot of money, not being able to work. But here's the thing. We all have ups and downs. We're going to get through it. We're going to take a deep breath. We're going to stay on the path. And we're going to get it done. So, whether I'm having an up or a down day, I am going to keep moving forward. Growth and change involve risk. moving from the known to the unknown. And if you stay where you're comfortable, you're never going to move. So, if we want to move ahead, if we want to grow, if we want to better ourselves, we want something better for ourselves, we can't give up. We got to keep going. And that's what I'm going to do. I've had some successes lately. Off parole, beautiful people around me, great subscribers on YouTube. So, it's all good. And a couple weeks ago, I released a single in my new band. So, that's Chaos 14 if you want to check them out. Go for it. But, yeah, I'm really optimistic. So that's all I'm going to say for this video. No stories for today, but there's more coming soon. I'm going to pick up where I left off when I was talking about being in county jail and flipping out and getting sent to a mental hospital. I'm going to tell you all about that. I actually had my own wing in the mental hospital. They thought I was so crazy. So I'll tell you about that fairly soon. But until then, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you very much. You all have a fantastic day, evening, morning, whatever it is where you are. I will catch you all later.